Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, you see me much more relaxed than 1 hour 10 before. And the reason is clear. We have a mission. We have a Sentinel-2 mission. We have 2 Sentinels now in orbit. And this is due to many who have cooperated extremely well. So let me use this occasion to thank all those who have done that. I would like to start with Arianespace. Bravo, another perfect launch. It was not easy. My Director General says always, when it's a success, it looks easy, but it's not easy. And Stefan knows very well how much work we invested before this launch. And that finally everything goes well is really fantastic. I would also like to say bravo to the Vega team. You know that I have a second head, which is the head of the ESRIN Center, and it happens that the development team of ESA for Vega is in ESRIN. So bravo to this team, but also bravo to industry who is building Vega. It's now a well-established launcher. It's the 5th, so from the 6th onward, this is really the open business launcher, because the first 5 were still supported by the government. I would also use the occasion to thank our partner, the European Commission. This dream to have an operational monitoring system for environment can and could only become true because of this cooperation. And I have already said to Philippe Brunet some minutes ago, now he has 2 satellites on his shoulder, because as a matter of fact, with the lift off, the property went from industry to us and then to him. So now you see he is already a little bit heavier, because there is Sentinel-1 and here is Sentinel-2. And I promise you more will come. Let me also use the occasion to thank all those who have worked very successfully on the satellite. And I would like to start with those from outside ESA. First of all, industry. Michael Menking sits here for industry. Very good work. I think we will see in the coming weeks and months that this is another excellent satellite coming from you. I would like to thank those who have helped us. There's DLR. Somewhere is DLR. They have delivered to us a laser terminal. Also here we had a lot of discussions at the beginning. A lot of work went into that, but it will revolutionize the transmission of data, of Earth observation data. And there's CNES, the most experienced in quality control of optical data. They worked also very closely with us. So CNES in a double role to thank, first hosting us here on the launch site, but then also for the satellite. And last but not least, I would not like to forget all the teams in ESA. Of course, they are closest to me. There's a team in ESTEC, with the support of all. It's a technical team, which you see here, all the ones with the green shirts and more, also here in the room. But there's many more who support us, because we cannot only with a technical team come to that. There is people from contracts, from legals, all are important for this success. We have ESOC, they have now taken over control. So now the A shift is working there and will work for 12 hours. And then the next one will come to start to bring really life into our satellite. And also in ESRIN, this is where then the data are processed. People are already waiting for the first image, which will come in a couple of days, and you should follow the internet for that. So I think you see this is really a European cooperation, and without this cooperation, this type of systems would never see the light. And I mean, Science has written this very well-known science magazine that Copernicus is an example what Europe can achieve if we join forces. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure and honor for me to address you on the day of the launch of the Sentinel-2A, the second dedicated satellite of the European Union's Earth observation program Copernicus. This is a great day for the Union, this launch is a real achievement. Sentinel-2A is the fruit of the European technological and industrial excellence. It will deliver the data that are needed to provide precise and reliable information about our environment and European citizens' security. The flow of open and free data that it will generate will support the creation of business opportunities for European companies, in particular SMEs, and boost innovation and employment in Europe. We are on the way to create a new world standard for Earth observation data. Sentinel-2A is the product of the cooperation between the European Union and the European Space Agency. We are grateful for this fruitful cooperation. Ladies and gentlemen, space is a priority for the Union. More than 11 billion euros are allocated to space activities over the next 7 years. They are already fostering today the development of a market for satellite-enabled products and services, providing highly qualified jobs with spillover effects across the economy. Thank you very much.
Mesdames et Messieurs, si je suivais le protocole de...
If I was to follow the Commission protocol, I would go back to my seat because usually a civil servant doesn't speak after his or her commissioner. But as the director of the Copernicus program, I simply wanted to share with you the fact that tonight my teams are extremely happy. In a career, you don't have that many occasions to say that you're happy to miss that opportunity when it happens. Copernicus, as we've said time and time again tonight, is European excellence, and I think that it's really important for the European Commission to prove that Europe can still do great things and things that, for the moment, that have no equivalent, as you saw in the video. For the moment, we have a system, an Earth observation system that's falling into place that has no equivalent on the planet. An Earth observation system for a political organization like the Commission, what does that mean? This is a decision support also for crisis management. It's an aid for citizens anyway. That means more growth. That also means more jobs. And above all, it's also a bet on the future, because increasingly we're going to depend on space, and increasingly without the use of space, our policies, whatever they are, can be neither efficient nor sustainable. Talking about sustainability, as many speakers have already said, I wanted to highlight the importance of a program like Copernicus at a time when the whole of mankind is thinking about how to curtail the impact of the greenhouse effect and climate change. One of the most important services rendered by Copernicus is in the area of climate change. The current constellation lets us study climate change and will help us propose solutions to mitigate these effects, and very likely in the forthcoming months, after the Paris COP, we'll be able to put in place systems to make sure that the pledges made by the COP member states will actually be implemented. As Volker said, I wanted to thank Arianespace. Of course, when you're a client, you always like the service delivered to be of the utmost quality, and it was once again tonight. Thank you, Stéphane, for that. Thank you also to the European Space Agency in Esrin and Volker Liebeck's teams with which we've worked as much for Sentinel-2 as for Sentinel-1. We even worked together to put this system in place that we've talked about repeatedly called EDRS, which is the laser transmission system. Everything's not always easy in a cooperation, but at the end of the day, our cooperation is good when we meet our goals. Thanks also go to my own teams, some of which are here tonight.
C'est le début
This is
d'une aventure qui
the beginning of an adventure, because now we've inherited another satellite tonight. Now we'll need to make use of it. We need to make sure that the data is as accessible as possible. And we also need to make sure that a European program is a program for the welfare of the whole of Europe and its citizens. And also, thank you to my teams. As far as I can see, you're still up in Brussels watching us on the web, and also our representative in Darmstadt. Thanks once again for sharing this great moment with us.
Ladies and gentlemen, wow. Our bird, sorry, Philippe, your Sentinel-2 is in orbit, and therefore first thanks of all to you, Stefan, to Arianespace to bring Sentinel-2 into its operational position for the next years. Second, for sure, I would like to thank you, Philippe, the European Commission, and especially ESA, represented by Volker Liebig, who is our customer, to get the award for this contract, I think now 8 years ago, to start the development, to integrate the satellite, to do all the testing, and to make it ready to be launched. And we all know our way will not end today. It's just more another starting point of Sentinel-2 in orbit. But for sure, I would like to thank our industrial partners. 42 companies all over Europe, that means considering 17 European countries, and in addition also Canada and the US, which shows Sentinel-2 is really a European satellite, also from the industrial point of view. And this was made possible under the lead of the prime contractor of Airbus Defence and Space in Friedrichshafen, as well as under the lead for the instrument of Airbus Defence and Space developed in Toulouse. And as you have mentioned, we are now talking not just about one satellite. After we had launched more or less a little bit more than 1 year ago, let's call it the all-weather satellite, Sentinel-1 with its radar instrument, which was done by Airbus Defence and Space. We are now facing the start in orbit of the first optical satellite, Sentinel-2. It was already mentioned, however, what will be the next hours, and it will be quite busy for us. First, you have seen ESOC, the European Space Operations Center from the European Space Agency. ESA has taken over the operations in Darmstadt for Sentinel-2. So currently we are doing routine checkouts, instrument checkouts for the next days, the so-called LEOP, the launch and early operations, which will be, let's say, which will make us busy for the next 3 days in a very high sequence with double shifts to have an intensive checkout of the current system. In addition, we will face for the next 3 months the in-orbit commissioning so that we can really check out the satellite in total and we can say, okay, we have in orbit the satellite with all the functions which were specified. As mentioned, Sentinels, these are the satellites within the Copernicus program, and we are really proud from industry that we can contribute as a key partner to the European Space Agency, ESA, together with its partnership to the European Commission, to a lot of the, let's say, coming Sentinels also in the future, if they are instruments or if they are satellites in itself. Europe shows here the ability, also on the industrial side, what we are able to do with all the know-how, with the experience, but we should not forget, behind these developments, there are people, that means with the skills which we have in European industry. Thank you very much.
Mesdames, Messieurs,
Ladies and gentlemen,
on a eu une chronologie parfaite,
we had a perfect chronology.
une véritable
It was
mission standard, idéal.
It was an ideal situation. This was all very easy,
À l'aboutissement,
very smooth, but this is the culmination of a campaign which was not always so easy, and the launch tonight confirmed flight after flight how perfect the Vega launch vehicle is, and we appreciate it. Here, the chronology tonight was perfect, and this confirms the simple choices that were made for this launch vehicle. It was the 5th launch this year at CSG, but another success, the 5th for Vega. And here, a perfect road has been traced for this vehicle. On behalf of CNES, I would like to congratulate the ASA teams which conducted this project, which is not easy, but we can see that the choices that were made were the best at the end of the day. I would also like to congratulate the Arianespace teams which operated this launcher with great determination. They were really relentless in their efforts, and they need to be given credit because they're doing it in a particularly difficult context. Congratulations to them. Congratulations to the launch directorate at CNES and also the industry under the lead of ELV, which manufactured and developed this launcher. I would also like to recognize the action of people who are in charge of the qualification of the launcher, Michel Courtois, Tony Tolkenissen, and Isabelle Longier, who were active for the last time, and I wanted to give them credit because the qualification work which took place to qualify this flight was not simple. I saw that myself, and so I wanted to congratulate them. Tonight, CSG launched satellite Sentinel-2A for the Copernicus program for the European Commission. It's what we could call a technological jewel to serve our knowledge of the Earth and the environment with high-resolution optical instruments, the data of which will be made available to players in environmental management. It's a tool for the future, and it's essential for the development of public policy. A great tool that we've orbited tonight. In this year where the climate and the environment will be central in the news with the organization of the Conference of Parties called COP21 in Paris, CNES with CSG is proud to be involved in the success of the Copernicus program. I wanted to thank the European Commission for their trust and entrusting us once again with the deployment of their satellite. It was the second Copernicus satellite that we launched. About a year ago, we launched the first one with Soyuz. The launch base is at its service, and it provides it with the best of its skills and know-how to meet its needs. I also wanted to congratulate ESA and the Earth Observation Division, represented here by Volker Liebig, which is the program manager for this project, and Airbus DS, which designed the satellite and built it, which is really a summary of its technological know-how. I hope that your teams appreciated the working environment that we provided. We want to offer a high-level service offering, which is our response to the competitiveness imperatives that we have at CSG. I also wanted to congratulate my colleagues at CNES in Toulouse for their contribution to the program. Setting up image processing systems and massive data processing requires unique expertise that's now at the service of ESA and the European Commission. Last but not least, I also wanted to highlight the performance of the spaceport, which is a major player in the launch of Vega. All our know-how was brought together to overcome incidents. We put in place a telemetry and telecontrol station in Saint-Jean-de-Maroni, and for the first time in the history of CSG, we put in place a 4th radar in Saint-Jean-de-Maroni, working on a coordinated basis with the other 3 radars, 2 in Kourou and 1 in Cayenne. The whole territory was covered with radars, so to speak, and so in Saint-Jean-de-Maroni, we have a mini Guiana Space Center that's operational to strengthen the safety of the launch. These innovations, like all innovations, require great preparation and performance to ensure the mission's success. Congratulations to everyone. Base industrial companies, CNES teams at CSG for your skills, but also for your commitment, being able to adapt to difficult situations and fix problems. I also wanted to thank the government services and our armed forces, led by the regional prefect, for your support, which is necessary for the success of our CSG missions. This launch is a great success. A success for Vega, a success for Sentinel, a success for Europe. It is an example of European cooperation that provides the best that we can offer. A European launcher for a European satellite launched by a European base. I'm particularly admirative of this European policy to develop the highest technological skills to provide Earth images for free as part of the Copernicus program for environmental management applications to serve research and companies that will develop an economy and public policies based on it, so to serve citizens. This launch here in Guyana has a specific importance because environmental management is a central concern for local elective representatives or government representatives. Forest management is a priority here. Reasonable development of resources with gold here and the safeguard of biodiversity, which is so important. Land needs for local authorities to develop their own policies, the development of agricultural activities or urban development for citizens are perennial issues for the territory. The provision of pictures with Copernicus is an opportunity that our region will be able to seize. And here I am talking specifically to regional representatives. For that, we have an asset, the SEAS telemetry station, that will need to be upgraded for this program. But this is a concrete example of what Europe and the space industry can provide for Guyana. Our representatives are fully aware of that, and I would like to thank our elected representatives for their support for CSG and the development of space activities in Guyana. Thank you for your attention. Dear friends, just a few words to say that we'll meet again in a fortnight on 8 July for a mixed launch, because this will be both a commercial satellite for Star 1 C4, all satellites of which we've launched, and also an institutional launch for our partner EUMETSAT with MSG4. And Ariane 5 once again will prove that it is able to launch both commercial and institutional satellites. Have a good night and see you very soon. Thank you.
Vega's fifth launch, a resounding success. Congratulations to everybody. Guido, before we say goodbye, any last words?
What a fantastic evening. Everything went very smooth, perfectly. This is a big success for Europe. Thanks to all the team. And now, Joss, I would like to go downstairs and hug my team, if you allow me.
You can't blame you for wanting to hug your team. Thank you for helping us out with the broadcast, Guido. All that's left for us to do is say goodbye. We'll do that over the last replay. Tonight with Vega on her fifth mission, successfully delivering Arianespace Sentinel 2A for the European Space Agency and the European Commission. Next Arianespace launch, you heard Stefan Israel say July 8th, and Ariane 5 will be here. We hope you will be too. Until then, on behalf of everybody here at the Space Base, Joshua Jampa with Guido Lavrini Avisa, thank you for being with us. We'll see you next time. Good night, everybody.